Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the spreadsheet for Sunday night, November 27th, what to expect going into the morning trade. So what I've done, I've made a few small little changes to the spreadsheet. I've shortened down some columns, and I'm really only looking at specific columns now. I'm looking at this column, and what I'm looking at is specifically the differences between 5.0 to 491 is not a big downside draft. But then 4.4987 to 4996, not a huge upside draft. Okay? But this is the XLP. It doesn't move in massive amounts of money. It just doesn't do that. So you can see how as we move from 0.4987 here, we're 73.89 and 74.45, 75.39, 75.94, 76.20, 76.25. Sorry, my camera on my phone keeps picking up my pencil. But that was a nice move, 73.89 to 76.25 on this move from 4.987 to a positive 4.996 or a neutral 4.996. So technically, if you're buying the option here, you caught the trade, and you had this massive move on the option from 73 to 76. A 3-point move in the option is a massive move in the option, percentage-wise. Okay? So XLP, that's things like Coca-Cola, and you're going to see later on with a different video probably that Coca-Cola is doing well. It's above 62. It was sitting 60 at this yellow day. You're also seeing that the market is working well, that 1.0 column, we've not, if we followed this column, which is our market action, we've been exceptionally bullish all month long. Hasn't been any weakness at all. And then if we follow our last column there's going to be something that I'll show you about the last column. So what I'm looking for in the last column is anything that moves by 0.1 is okay, that's fine. But anything that moves more than that is green. Huh? Like this is negative 0.3 and it's negative 0.4. That's only 0.1. There's nothing worrying there at all. So this trade is definitely still working. The trade is definitely still long. XLP is still long. Here's the XLE. As we can see, we've had 94 to 91. So money has come out of the energy complex, which makes some sense, and moved into other areas of the market. Okay. People don't want to own energy because they're worried about that XLE or the being unfriendly to, just like people don't want to wear fur coats. Same kind of concept. So what did we see in its data set? Well, it's still sitting there at a positive 5.0, 5.0, 5.0, 5.0, 5.0, 5.0, which is wherever my pen is at, this column here, which is this column here, 5.0. Exceptionally strong. Still in its rally mode. But you'll notice that it's come in and out. It fades in here, it fades in and out, and fades in and fades out. Notice how the fades in are getting shorter. Okay? It's just data sets. That's all it is. And we've now printed a negative 0.15. So I believe that the oil complex for tomorrow moves a little short, moves a little lower. Okay. Don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I believe, based upon the data, that the oil complex is going to be a little bit shorter. Here's the XLU, utilities sector. What's it doing? Look at its columns. 4.99 to 5.05. So 4.99, 68.66, 69.16, 69.75, 70.53, 70.94. Wow. What a gain. So if you were trading options, you're really looking for that move, and look at that move, 0.4982 to 4.999. That was a pretty good move. Okay. Interesting. And then it also has stayed, that last column stayed green. And look at that 1.0 column. It's been green ever since. So if you go over to the 1.0 column, let's just go back, 1.0317. What was its price? 68.85, 67.73, 67.27, 68, 68, 67, 68, 69, 69, 70, 70. Notice how it takes a little bit of time for the market to catch up with the data set. Okay? Just keep that in your mind. It takes a little time for the data set and the markets to work together. Okay. So then what is this one? Let's take a look. XLK, is it that this is still XLU where I'm at? Let me move my camera over. XLK, 5.012. Been strong since up there at the top. Look at that move, 0.4972 to 0.5014. That would have been a trigger trade. You were sitting 120, 130, 132, 132, 133, 131, 132, 131, 130, 133, 134, 133. It's been a nice move from 120 to 133. We got all of our pop at the beginning, which is unfortunate. But you see that the trade has held up and its last column is still positive. So XL, what was that? That was the XL, where am I at here? That's the XLK. Tech sector, still long. And you're going to see that further down in this video. XLB, the materials sector. Let's move over to the XLB here. It just broke into 5.011, 5.017, 5.020. What do I believe the XLB? I believe, where'd my sheet go? I just had it here. There it is. I believe the XLB is long for another dollar. I believe it goes to 83.37. So I believe, and I'm going to be placing some trade, XLB long, materials long, going into the open. I believe there's more to this trade. XLY. XLY, what do we see here? Uh-oh, we see a little bit of negativeness. We just see marginalization. Nothing strong, nothing weak, nothing going, nothing doing, nothing. We don't have to even bother worrying about it. Just keep moving on. XLC. What do we see here? 5.090. Okay, great. It's had this great run from that yellow point, 0.4996, 48 to 50. That was a great move for the XLC index, the communications index. That was a great move for them. Okay, great. Is there anything going on? No, not a lot going on, just more of the same. 10 cents, 20 cents up. Nothing worth trading in the XLC. XLF. XLF, banking sector. Ooh. We've moved from red to green. Okay, great. We can do the math. 0.8344 divided by 0.8326. We can do the math to be able to come up with a trade. And I believe that the XLF long still has 50 cents more in it. I believe it goes to 36.51. 36.51 is, I believe, where the XLF goes. Is that enough to trade the option on the index? Not really, no. Because the indexes move so freakingly slow. But it is just data sets. XLV, okay, XLV, let's take a look at it. XLV, I believe, moves along by $2 more. What did it do? It moved from, if we look at it, 0.4993 to 0.5010. It moves green right away. And if we do that math, we do 0.8350 divided by 0.8322. We've come up with a moved $2 more, 137.15. We look at $2 more, 139 in the cards. I believe there's 139 in the cards with the healthcare sector long. Its last column's doing well. It's green. It's doing well. So if we look at that last column, it's doing well. It's in its rally mode here. And this is also strong. This tells you that healthcare is very, very strong. Lots of activity going on in the healthcare sector. XLI, industrials. Again, look at that run on the industrials, 93.57 to 101. Who's complaining about that for a month? 93 to 101. It's going to 103. It's a 10-point move on the index in a month. Hello? be celebrating that. Where are we at here? 0.5009. Okay, fine. Look at that move. The yellow sector, 98, 98, 99. Now we're 101. Nice move from the yellow sector. We've been in consistent rally mode, 1.0171 at the top of the screen there to 1.0158 at the bottom of the screen. We've been in consistent rally mode the whole time. No reason to trade it. It's like awesome. And we're positive in our columns. What's our market looking like? So we can see that our market here, 0.8345, 0.8361, 0.8358. We're in rally mode now in our market. And that's what we can say. And look, we've gone from 34,000 Dow to 34,300 Dow. That was a 1-point move on the Dow index. That was a big move in the last 3 days. That was all good. So that's where we're at with the broader market. The broader market is in a continuous rally from here. There is no data set from sector to sector to sector that looks weak. We need to see some money go into the XL, the consumer sector. I forget what it's called now at the top of my head. And we probably will get them. But now I'm going to move from the sectors, knowing what the market is going to be doing, that it's in its rally mode. It will be moving higher based upon the data sets. And now I'm going to scroll over across my spreadsheet and I'm going to go down. You're going to have to bear with me because I've not figured out a way to be able to do this faster. So I'm just going to talk my way through it. Arizona was nice. It was nice to be out there and with my friends. I had 180 of my friends out there and some of their spouses. But it was just a blast. It's always a nice break away from reality to get out there and live on somebody else's money for a while. And we did some really nice living. So let's look at individual stocks. Notice how the XLF, the finance sector, was strong. So here's American Express. And if we look at American Express, it's breaking into its green mode off of yellow. Look at that move, 0.4979 to 0.4995. Look at that move, 152 to 154. Okay, great. And we expect it to go to 15651. 15651. AXP moving higher to 15651. If you trade options, you have the blessing to be able to go and say, AXP should be moving higher by $2. It's a nice move on an option if you want to trade that option. Here's Occidental Petroleum, one of my favorites as well too, as you can see, 0.5031. There's nothing going on there. The price has actually been sliding rather than going up, which is a little interesting. Think about that for a minute. The price has been sliding. Interesting. Here's Microsoft. Is there anything going on with Microsoft? 0.4999, 0.4992, 5.0. We're in a confirmed rally. Microsoft moves higher, 247.49. Not a whole lot. I'm looking for 250.61 on the math. 250.61, 3 more points. You could trade Microsoft long for the 3 points. Here is Apple. Is there anything going on with Apple? Apple has a little bit of a problem, and it is breaking out of its rally mode. Notice this column here, that 1.0 is now broken down. The problems they're having in China are severe, but then there's another thing. If they can't get cell phones out of China, then what happens to the cost of cell phones? They just soar. So does Apple get crushed with this? I don't think they do. And the market doesn't necessarily, ping too much to it other than the concept of, there's things going on in China. The other thing is that Apple's going to have to build a different plant to make phones out of China because the emperor there now has his third vote, which means he has supreme power, and Apple must differentiate that and get out of there. And they will over time. I'm sure that they're waiting on some kind of an announcement. Foxconn keeps wanting to buy land and build plants. And we'll have to see what happens. There is a little consolidation there. Notice that 0.9748 blue. And then we bounced back a little bit. Okay, great. But then we fell back apart again. That's not necessarily a good thing for Apple. I would not necessarily be trading Apple long at this point. I would be sitting there saying, let me just look at something else to trade because Apple is not the thing. Could it spike? Absolutely yes. It could soar because it's Apple, as you know. Here's Boeing. Look at its move, 147 at the top of the screen at the beginning of the month to 178. Is there anybody complaining about that move? No. And look at where it's at here, 0.5014, and it's strengthening 0.5024. Where does Boeing go? Boeing goes higher. Just goes higher. That's all we need to know. It's going higher. Higher, higher, higher. Boeing higher. Go long Boeing. It's a good trade for tomorrow. Go long Boeing. Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon. Okay, what's going on with Amazon here? Is there anything going on with Amazon? No, 0.4968. Nothing. It's sleepy. It's yawny. It's not even. Its columns are not working for it. Is there anything about Amazon? No. Other than the last column's a little bit green. Could we go long Amazon? We could. Could we go short Amazon? We could. Is there any definitive data set on Amazon? No. What does it mean? We stay away from Amazon for now. Not something we need to be in. Caterpillar. Let's take a look at Caterpillar. Look at that run from 215 to 235. You know, my aunt is making some really good money there. Has it broken down at all? No. What's it doing? It's going fine. Yes, it's going fine. Everything's good. Its last column is a little bit weak, but it's only weak by one. We don't care about one. So again, look at Caterpillar. Caterpillar higher on the day. Cat higher. Not a whole lot higher, but higher. Think long Caterpillar, not short Caterpillar. Long Caterpillar. Let's see what this one is then as we go through these trades. This is really, really fun. CRM, my least favorite stock on the globe. That's how I say that. But unfortunately, what does it do? Look at its setup from the 22nd, the 23rd into the 25th. We went from 0.4967 to 5.0. That run, and look at that 0.495, 0.4945 to 4967. That run has to catch your attention, and we have to be thinking CRM long at this point. CRM long at this point. CRM long at this point. If you're an option trader, you want to be long CRM for the day. There's something going on there. We don't know exactly what. We're going to find that out, but there it is. What was this one that I just passed again? Sorry, as I'm trying to do this, it's hard. This is CVX, so oil. This is Chevron. Notice how it's gone from 181 to 183 on the month. Not a whole lot going on there. If I scroll back over, we're sitting 0.5019. All that's all good. 0.8337, and we're green in that column. That's all good. But we're a little bit negative there. That's not necessarily a good sign. What would we be expecting with Chevron for tomorrow? We're expecting Chevron to move a little short. We believe, or I believe, the trade in Chevron, if you're holding it, which I am, unfortunately, is short for tomorrow a little bit. Not a whole lot, a little bit. As the oil segment changes around. IBM. Let's look at Big Blue here. What's Big Blue doing? 0.5016. Look at that run, 134 to 148. Anybody complaining about that? Nope, you shouldn't be. We are a little bit negative there in the last column. IBM, we have to just keep our eye on. IBM's a no trade for tomorrow. This is Coca-Cola. Remember, the XLP was getting stronger. Well, what's the leading stock in the XLP? Coca-Cola. So what's Coca-Cola doing? It's getting stronger too. Look at what it did. It went from 0.4994, 0.4986 to 0.5013. Okay, its columns are moving fine, and its last column is positive. It's a positive green. So I believe Coca-Cola continues to move up by 20-25 cents tomorrow. It's a slow mover. It is the most boring thing to trade, but it should be moving higher on the day tomorrow. We'll see what happens. J&J, Yawnville again, but what's it doing? It's moving fine. It's not doing anything wrong. It's in rally mode. It will be moving up by 10 cents tomorrow or so. It's no big deal. McDonald's. this is an interesting one. I believe as the economy starts getting crushed, I believe McDonald's ends up winning here. I believe it goes higher from this point, but I have no data sets other than a yellow caution and a green breakout 1.0074. But there's no data sets to be able to say ooh 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 right now. I mean, yes, the 1.0076 is higher than the 1.0074, and that is bullish. That is bullish. Let's look at what. Yeah, notice the 1.0012 being higher than the 0.9996. That's bullish, technically too. So if you wanted to take a flyer on McDonald's here saying it's going to go higher as more people are going to start eating out at McDonald's, then okay. There's nothing wrong with saying 275 is a good entry point for McDonald's. It's just Yawnville. Not a whole lot going on there, but that's okay. 3M. What's going on with 3M? We're 0.4994, nothing really going on. Nothing short, nothing long, can't do nothing with it, and our exit column is a positive. We're not in a positive rally here in any way. We just have to move on. So that's XLM. Now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to cover 3 new areas that I'm paying my attention to. I read another options book about a guy who's a trader, and he points out stick with one thing and know that one thing very, very well. So I'm going to try to do just that. I need to follow the market to know whether the market's in a rally mode or a declining mode, so I need to follow the sectors anyway. So then as I scroll down here, and you're going to just have to bear with me here, I'll talk about Phoenix again. This is going to be a long video, but you'll get the gist of it, and this is for all of my trader friends. Anybody that takes my advice for tomorrow, that's my advice. It's what I'll probably be doing. Don't know exactly what I'm going to wake up and do, but if you take your own trading advice, it's nothing on me, because we do not know what the market will do tomorrow. We're just making some speculative guesses on what we believe the market will do tomorrow. And so whatever trade you make, that's on you. This is not an official site. So here is the SQQQs, the short triple Qs. And you'll see that for the month, it's gone from 53 to 44. That's a pretty big drop. Long the Qs was definitely the trade. Shorting the Qs sucked. And so at the end of the day, we had that big spike to 60.37 there in your chart, and notice the next day 47.08. If you were getting greedy, you got crushed. It's the only way to put it. If you were getting greedy, you got crushed. Notice also that we had some consolidation. We had some people selling it. Blue, 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 blue. Everybody was selling as it was spiking. And then you notice that nobody's selling any longer. They're consolidating right now. So SQQQs, we're sitting, where are we sitting at? 0.4983, 0.4983, a move of 11 points there, but nothing serious. We can't really be trading the SQQQs for tomorrow. They could work a little bit for 2 or 3 or 4%, but they're not anything serious. Here is the Qs, just the long single Qs, 286.92. What's it doing? 5.0007. So it has broken green. We expect the Qs to run tomorrow further. We believe that the trade is definitely long the Qs at this point in time. Here's the SOX. That's the chip sector. Notice that run, if you would, from 321 to 376. A 50-point move on the month. 50 points on the month. And all you had to do was just put your money in there and look at that money and run. Sheesh. Massive run. 5.0010, long the Q, long the SOX. Sorry, this is the SOX. Long your SOX. Put some long SOX on. It's getting a little chippy out there anyway. Put some long SOX on. We have it moving fine. Long SOX with a little bit of a negative. Now this negative 24 I don't really like because that's a negative 3 move. We'll have to see. The last time we had this setup, the SOX did sell off. And so we'll have to see what happens for tomorrow. I don't believe the trade is long on the stocks at this point in time. I believe you're better off trading the individuals rather than the index. So that's your trading for the day with a new spreadsheet. It makes it a little bit faster for me to be able to go through because I'm really only looking at 3 columns, and I can shrink the rest of the data sets to only look at those 3 columns, and I might do that for myself at some point in time to be able to make it a little bit shorter. But your trades for tomorrow, I believe XLB long, XLF long, XLU long, QQQ long, and the QQQ long trade is only a 5% trade if you're going to go in there. So if you put 20 grand into the long QQQs, get out after 5%. That will give you, 5% on 20 grand is a nice turn for the day. AXP long, Microsoft long. Those are your trades, I believe, for the day based upon the spreadsheet. So go out and enjoy your day. Looking forward to tomorrow, making some money. Have a great day. Bye-bye.